Hey everybody, welcome back to another commentary here on the channel. You thought we were done? Well, we're not. We are not quite done just yet. The reason for that is because we're doing one more commentary this week and we're going to an arena. And I figured what a better time to do an arena commentary than the weekend of Tacoma. I always love Tacoma events. I've been able to work here in this building before. These are basically stadium events. I always like to do the Tacoma events every year. And I knew I would have time to do one arena this weekend. And there's no better one to do than this giant floor of Tacoma, Washington with Arena Championship Series West. We've got 8 drivers battling it out, and they start in racing as Tim Hall Jr. in Jurassic Attack spins out in the turn against DEVIN Winfield in Velociraptor, the 2 Team Throttle Monster teammates in the 2 beautiful dinosaur trucks. Well, it's DEVIN Winfield grabbing the first race win of the day. Tim Hall Jr. has been battling a lot of truck issues since we first saw him on the channel in week number 1. Cody Saucier in Dragon now takes on Berto Trevino in Monster Mutt Rottweiler. We've seen every tour compete on the channel. If you missed it in week 1, we did Salt Lake City for this series. Cody Saucier in Dragon's picked up a race win here in Tacoma. This is the first time we're doing an arena since then, though. We have not done any. So Arena West getting themselves their second berth here on the channel of the year. Ashley Sanford and Megalodon now takes on Weston Anderson and Gravedigger. Always a tall task for any competitor who has to take on Weston, but Ashley was winning until she made a mistake in the turn. Weston's trying to come back, and he does! So Gravedigger wins the race. Now the final matchup of round 1. Brandon Mahan and Scooby-Doo takes on Corey Rummel in Earthshaker. He's now filling in on this series for the injured Alex Barden. Trying to take home a win here in round 1, and he won't. It's a Scooby-Doo victory in a close battle. So now here in the semifinals, Cody Saucier and Dragon will take on DEVIN Winfield and Velociraptor. DEVIN Winfield coming off an amazing weekend last weekend in Reno, but he's down here in round number 2. Cody Saucier, such a good racer, and he lost! DEVIN Winfield made up the ground. Wow! All right, now the next race here of the semifinals. Weston Anderson and Gravedigger takes on Brandon Mahan and Scooby-Doo. Sorry, everyone, I was interrupted by a call from my good friend Ray Villarreal. He decided to interrupt my commentary with something very important as Weston Anderson screws her up and is down in the semifinals. Wow. So Brandon Mahan moves on to the finals. She will take on DEVIN Winfield in Velociraptor. Now, racing is one of the most important competitions of the day to get points because you get 2 for losing in round 1, 4 for losing in the semis, then 8 and 7 for the final round, and DEVIN Winfield has won racing here this afternoon in a major racing win. Very good for him.
You are claiming your spot amongst the top leaders on this series. You are now just
Who is this announcer? He's got a wonderful voice.
Overall, how good does that feel?
I can't even describe this feeling.
Well, good for DEVIN Winfield. I mean, very, very happy for him to be able to grab a racing win out here. Let's listen.
Against him every single weekend is a dream in itself. And I want to be an example of every single kid sitting out here that wants to do something, that has their mind set on anything. Thank you guys so much. As a Monster Jam fan myself, from a fan to the fans, thank you guys so much for coming here today and supporting us and Team Draw the Monster and this Velociraptor truck. Thank you.
Now, we've got an event to
Very cool.
You've got 2-wheel skills coming up next. You ready to go?
I'm absolutely ready to go. You guys ready for some more?
Woo, yay, Monster Jam. All right, so the next competition of the day will be the 2-wheel skills competition. The drivers will have to do 2 moves on 2 wheels. And Tim Hall Jr. in Jurassic Attack will start us off. Tim Hall Jr. in week number 1, when we last saw him in Salt Lake City, looked really, really good. He had a very good weekend. Matter of fact, at the end of that week, I placed him in the top 10 drivers currently with his performance. He's fallen off significantly since last weekend. Not very good in Reno. Truck problems have been plaguing Tim Hall Jr., but he does a very nice popper here. Now I will do the same thing in arenas as I do in stadiums, give my scores, and then give the scores the fans gave them at the end of the run, or at the end of the competition. Solid popper for Tim Hall Jr. He's got 1 more move to go, and there's a lot of room to play with here in Tacoma. That's the beauty of this building. You allow for these drivers to really spread their legs and spread their wings to really, wow, I was thrown off by the speed there. Spread their wings to really fly. Moonwalk from Jurassic Attack. Not great. 7.7. Here's Berto Trevino in Monster Mutt Rottweiler. Now, Birdo, the last 2 weekends have not gone very well for Birdo. He's currently about to go under my face, and now he's back. So we'll see if Birdo can have a better week here. Now, I don't know if there is a Sky Wheelie competition. I should check on that, because that would prevent them from being able to do Sky Wheelies here. No, there's not. It's a 2-wheel. So they can do Sky Wheelies here in this competition. It looks like Birdo might... Nope, he's going to try a popper. Nice popper from Birdo Trevino. He has worked a lot on these to get much better at them, and it's nice to see him executing it very well. I like it. Pretty solid. I think Tim Hall Jr.'s is a little bit better, but Timmy failed move number 2, so that opens up the door for Birdo on his second move. It's pretty cool that this series has 4 Team Throttle Monster members. They get to be on Arena West because it's the closest to their base in Ogden, Utah. I'm pretty sure that's where Throttle Monster's located. Looks like he's going to try a bicycle. This is one of the few venues in which you really have the room to walk a bicycle, and Birdo's going to go for it. This is a bold move here in this competition. If he can nail it, might get some good points. There you go. Nice little moonwalk. Or bicycle. Why did I call it a moonwalk? I'll give that an 8 for Birdo Trevino. Pretty good run, but nothing super special. So I'd put him in first. Here's Brianna Mahan and Scooby-Doo. I'm going to try a slap wheelie. Now, this is where a stadium driver can showcase her talents, but she did not do it very well. Brianna spent many years in the stadiums and now getting to showcase some of those moves here in a place like Tacoma. This series, by the way, has been absolutely chugging for the first 3 weeks. They had a 5-event weekend in Reno. Big Sky Wheelie out of Scooby-Doo. Very nice. I'll give her a 7.5 for that run. So, they had, I'm pretty sure they had 4 or 5 events in Salt Lake City. They had, I think, 4 or 5 in Reno, and I know they have 5 in Tacoma, had 5, because it was last weekend. This is event number 2, by the way. I never mentioned that. This is the second event of the weekend in Tacoma. This was the Saturday afternoon show. Here's Corey Rummel and Megalodon. They got his name already up on the truck, too, so that's pretty cool. Good for Corey. Trying to stop you. Now, this is where Corey can really showcase his skills in a big floor like this. He is used to driving with all this room, and now you've got to imagine a guy like Corey Rummel should do well here in Tacoma, Washington, here in this 2-wheel skills competition. I guess he doesn't get a second move, though, so that's going to hurt him. I would still put him in... I don't know. That wasn't... He didn't do 2 moves. I got to give him a 7.4. Here's Weston Anderson in Gravedigger. Now, Weston, always a king in this competition, and now has all the room to work with. He got knocked out in the semifinals today, so he is coming out a little earlier in the competition. Which is odd, because usually if you get knocked out in the semifinals, you come out 7th or 8th, so it's weird that he's coming out this early. Very nice popper. I mean, he's on 1 wheel right now. Weston Anderson's skills in this competition are so unmatched. Still on 1 wheel! He is on 1 wheel right now! And he flipped it over. But that was impressive enough for me to give him first place at an 8.1. That was amazing. Even though he flipped it over. I mean, he was totally balanced on 1 wheel. That doesn't even... Should that even count for the competition? It's a 2-wheel competition, and he's doing it on 1. Here's Devin Winfield and Velociraptor. So this competition's been very weird so far, but your racing winner, Devin Winfield, has a chance to get a pretty good number, with nobody really having 2 good moves. And like I said, last week in Reno, Devin Winfield was amazing. I put him in my top 10 drivers currently after last week because Devin Winfield looked so good in those competitions. This week, we'll see if he can have a good one here in Tacoma. He got off to a pretty good start last night in Tacoma as well, had a couple good events. He's been winning a lot of racing competitions, which is, I don't want to say surprising, but he's really developed into a great racer, which has surprised a lot of people. Does a little moonwalk, but honestly, not a great run altogether. I would give that a 7.4. I mean, it really wasn't that good. Some of those individual moves were better than his full run. Now Cody Saucier and Dragon has a chance to really pull away with some points here. Cody's a very consistent competitor in this competition, so I wouldn't be surprised if he walks away with a skills win here. I don't know if there's any more competitors to go after Cody either. He drags the tailgate very nice. I mean, that's a smooth move right there. Cody, another guy who's spent a ton of time in arenas and is going to get a chance to showcase what he's capable of on this big floor. We still haven't seen Ashley Sanford. That's who's left to go. Why do I feel like this lineup is backwards? I don't know. Very weird. Usually you're supposed to have the two losers in the semifinals coming out 7th and 8th. It's almost like they randomized this order, but I don't know, very weird. He goes for a bicycle. Very nice place to do that. He got a little combo in there. I'll count it. I'll count it. It was a nice move. I would put that in first with an 8.25. I would. I mean, that was the best full run we've had today. Wasn't anything spectacular. This entire competition's been a little disappointing. Now here's Ashley Sanford Megalodon. I also my scoring in my head has been still kind of trained to the stadiums. I really should lower my expectations and probably increase everyone's scores by about 0.5 of a point, but it's okay. Now, Ashley Sanford Megalodon, her 3rd time competing here in Tacoma. She has become a veteran in the Tacoma Dome, and she tries a reverse popper and just backs it off the ramp, but the truck shut off, so maybe some electrical issues going on. That was very weird. That was a very strange series of events that just took place. Ashley's going to go for one more move, but it's going to be pretty hard to grab a win here with just one move. You're going to have to do something pretty wacky if you want to do that. Overall, very weird competition. And Ashley Sanford's going to finish it off with a popper. She does not walk it very far at all, so I'm going to actually give her the lowest score out of everybody today and give her a 5.1. So that will end off her run. Pretty sure that's the end of the competition as well. And your winner was Weston Anderson and Gravedigger. I mean, I can't entirely complain about that. Wait a minute, why is Cody there?
And you brought a friend, you brought Cody.
Oh, okay, Cody. So Weston Anderson got an 8.831. Cody Saucier got an 8.697. So with that, it means that Weston grabbing that win is, I don't know, I mean, it was pretty close. He had a pretty wild move. I would give him that much. So our next competition of the day will be the donut competition. Now, before we get into donuts, I wanted to give a quick shout out to the channel members who have been very loyal to this channel and who have subscribed monthly to be able to get early access to every commentary and every video that I post. You can become a member today. Just $2 a month. You can see every single video that I post the minute that I post it. A lot of these channel members, they're getting to watch these videos 4 to 5 days before they become public. You can do that as well. So I want to shout out all of them here from the very beginning. We've had a lot of people join lately, and I haven't done this enough. And I got to shout all of you guys out for being legends. We got Braden Curtis, Devin Bearsville, also, by the way, I apologize if I botch some of these names, Monster 17 Productions, Ryan Zielsdorf, All Out Gaming Motorsports, Team Connor No Limits, iGaze Loves Playing Games, John Waldvogel, Nathaniel Evans, Adam No, Icy Stormy, Joseph Rodriguez 155, PNA, Who Man, NC Monster Trucks, AT Animations, They Love AYT, Fennec, Braxtino, and Marie.S550. So I just, again, wanted to say a big thank you to all of you guys. You've been wonderful. And again, you could be on that list. You could be on that list and shout it out in a future video. So join today. Let's do the donut competition, shall we? This is Monster Mutt Rottweiler and Berto Trevino behind the wheel. Berto doing a slow nut here. Not much speed. That was okay. For an arena, that's a 6.9. There's Cody Saucier and Dragon. He's going to choose to do a donut in the middle. Oh, no! And that is it. You don't get to do another donut after that. His run should be over. And he will, yeah. Thankfully, they shut him off. And shout out to the competition manager for making that happen. Because by the rules, his run was over once he made that mistake. Here's Weston Anderson in Gravedigger. He's kind of getting close to the boundary over there. You've got to keep in mind that white line is set as a boundary. Once you go far past that, they will shut you off, but thankfully he's able to keep it in there. That was a pretty good donut, 8.7. Here's Brianna Mahan's Scooby-Doo. Got all that blue underglow on the truck. She is able to whip up a donut where Cody could not. Smooth donut, very clean, right in the middle of the floor. And honestly, I would put that in first at an 8.8. That was a little bit better than Weston's. Here's Devin Winfield, Velociraptor. Very, very similar donuts. We've had 3 in a row, but he's walking this one towards the outside barrier of the track, and he is spinning her. Very nice. I would give that your new leader at a 9. Devin Winfield coming out here and performing today, winning racing. And a very strong competition here. Way to go. Now Tim Hall Jr. and Jurassic Attack. Let's see what he can bring. So Devin Winfield got the fans cheering, which is not easy to do with a donut. Oh boy, truck problems for Devin Winfield, or for Tim Hall Jr. There's Corey Rummel and Megalodon. Corey is a master of donuts. Done him at the stadiums for many years, but it's a very different truck than what he's used to driving, and he will finish it there. I'll give that a 6.5. And now here's Ashley Sanford and Megalodon, your final competitor. Nobody did a donut on the far side, all these drivers choosing to do it in the middle. Really working that track, getting that dirt all loose. Not quite the speed we've seen from some of the other competitors, but let's see if Ashley can pick it up a little bit. No, I'll give that an 8.6. And Devin Winfield in Velociraptor is your winner. He got a 9.567. Scooby-Doo got second with a 9.194, and Gravedigger got third with a 9.037. So pretty solid all around. The three of those competitors getting themselves 9s. Ashley Sanford placed in 4th, and everyone else after that pretty low down the totem pole. So let's head on in to freestyle. Here it is, the final competition of the day and the final competition of the weekend here on the channel. We've done 5 events, and Tim Hall Jr. and Jurassic Attack will lead it off. Let's see what Timmy can do up there. Starts his run off the logs. Now, Tim has had a lot of truck problems. They have been continuously plaguing him throughout these first few weekends. It was pretty smooth in Salt Lake City, but in Reno, the truck issues really started to arise, and now he is trying to figure out how to kind of maneuver that and also put on a good show and have fun. You know, it's frustrating when the truck starts to break that way, so you got to keep yourself remembering what you got into this for. It's got to really kind of beat you down when every time you're going out there trying to drive as hard as you can and the truck just doesn't want to work. It already seems like he's got a transmission issue. You might need to totally replace that transmission as well. Sometimes when that's the case, just try and do a popper like that, but it didn't quite work, so even at that, he really can't get much to work in his favor right now. It's just struggle. It's a big struggle for Tim Hall Jr. at this point. These last 2 weeks have been really taxing for this truck. And it's also taxing on you. You know, Tim Hall Jr. has got to work on these trucks himself. He's not a Feld driver who has a technician who can work on the trucks. You know, he doesn't have a crew chief. He's his own crew chief. He has to go out there and, you know, work on these machines. And he's going to call it quits right there. That's the end of his run. Here's Devin Winfield in Velociraptor, who's picked up 2 competition wins today. Got to be feeling good about an overall event possibility right now. I'd give Tim Hall Jr. a 5.8 for that run. Nice air out of Devin Winfield. Now, this is a floor where you could fly, and Devin is, you know, I've not really gotten to see Devin Winfield competing like this before with the amount of room he has. Very nice to see. I mean, he already is carrying some nice momentum, nice speed. Look at this run. I mean, Devin Winfield is out here. This is not what I expected out of him. Oh, no, I think the truck might have broken. I wanted to see more. Oh, that would be really too bad. Okay, good. I was going to say, I mean, this run is off to such a good start. Not only is he in a points hunt, but he could win freestyle if he maybe puts out a backflip. So, who knows? We'll see how it goes. But, I mean, I love it. A guy in his second year driving in Monster Jam. This is definitely a step up from what we saw to Devin Winfield just 1 year ago. He seems much, much more comfortable in the truck, and that's the thing you don't get in arenas. You're so tight in those small little venues, but once you get to these big venues, you get to see the true talent of some of these drivers. The truck has shut itself off again, and that might be the end of that run. Too bad. I'll give him a 7.8 overall. That was a good freestyle for what it was, but he still had a little bit of time left on the clock as Ashley Sanford Megalodon comes out. And Ashley's one of those drivers who typically also does well in these buildings because she likes to really air that truck out. Now, momentum is not in Ashley Sanford's strong suits, but she is not afraid to put the pedal to the floor and just go flying. We've seen it the last 2 years she has competed in Tacoma, and already you can see some of these moves. She's getting that hang time. Still plenty of time left to pick up that pace, though. But it's always a nice test. These are the arenas I really enjoy watching, which is why I always love taking a look at who will be competing on Arena Series West, because these are the drivers who you can really tell how they would do at a stadium level. I mean, everybody can compete in an arena and get points. but not everybody can do it on a floor like this. This is what shows you who the really talented drivers are and could make a name for themselves for their entire careers. It's a guy like Elvis Lina has had a lot of success here in the past. Is she going to be our backflipper today? Wow. Ashley Sanford going to try for the backflip. She is certainly making sure she's lined up right. Wow, a lot of height, twists it around, and the truck flips over. Too bad. The shark takes a dump there. I wouldn't even give that first. Honestly, I'd give that a 7.6. Here's Corey Rummel and Earthshaker. Now, Corey Rummel is a guy to watch in this competition because this is Corey's first weekend back. He returned after Carson Williams drove last week in Reno. Corey Rummel was given the permanent replacement spot until Alex Barden can return. And Corey is going to spend a lot of weekends in this truck, and he gets to do his first one in a stadium-style floor. So no better way to kind of break yourself right back into it than with something you're familiar with, you know? It wouldn't have been fun for him to jump right back in a small little arena, and Corey's already letting her fly in Earthshaker. It's also a totally different truck than anything he's used to. While he has played a role in some of the creation of Team Throttle Monster's chassis, this is different than the truck he's used to driving in every weekend when he was driving Megalodon for Team Scream. So it's a totally different adjustment, but he looks pretty comfortable in this truck. You can imagine after a couple weekends, he's going to finally look pretty smooth behind the wheel of Earthshaker. But the big difference is the smaller arenas are going to be a huge, huge, huge adjustment for a guy who has never been on an arena series. They just shut him off. He must have broken something somewhere, which kind of stinks. Here's Berto Trevino, Monster Mutt Rottweiler. I would put Earthshaker in first with a 7.9. I like that run just a little bit better than Velociraptor. The momentum being able to keep up because he didn't shut off the 2 times Velociraptor did. Now, Berto is a guy who I'm intrigued to see how he handles this freestyle because the only performances I've seen out of Berto have been in smaller venues, and last year when we did Tacoma, really wasn't at the level. I mean, he had barely been driving this truck. So I'm excited to see how Berto handles this freestyle because this is now a more refined Berto Trevino, a more experienced man behind the wheel of this truck, but there's definitely room to grow. I mean, Berto is a guy who doesn't go super huge. But that is some nice air. Clears the pod fully. Love Berto Trevino. He's one of my favorite men in all of Monster Jam. I've gotten to work with him before. Very nice guy. Spent a lot of time as a tech official for Monster Jam for years before getting the call to drive for Team Throttle Monster. Matter of fact, he actually was a tech official, I think, at the I think one of his last events as a tech official was one of my last events in Monster Jam as well. So we had a pretty similar ending to our careers, and I think he is going to call it right there. That was okay. I give him a 6.4. Now Weston Anderson, the man of the hour in Gravedigger. He's leading this series by a country mile at this point in the season already. So now Weston can just kind of go out there and have a blast. Now the door's got to be incredibly wide open for Weston to grab a freestyle win here, because Ashley failed the backflip and didn't really do anything else. And just because you fail a backflip, wow, big air. Just because you fail a backflip in an arena doesn't mean you're going to get the points. I mean, I have seen times where if you don't have a good run and then you fail the backflip, you really don't get a good score. And Weston Anderson, I mean, I don't know what kind of score Ashley Sanford got, but you'd have to imagine it's probably not going to be unbeatable. And if Weston goes out there and burns her down, which Weston's very capable of doing. I mean, huge air. Oh, no! The 4-link bar caves in on the second he landed, and that's going to end his run. I don't even know if he got a score for that. So here's Brandon Mahan and Scooby-Doo, and with 2 competitors left, this freestyle window is wide open for anyone to take a lead. I've got Corey Rummel in first place at a 7.9 right now. Now, I know this is probably not the best of Tacoma shows to do, but out of taking everything into consideration, video length, video quality, this was the best overall choice to do a commentary on. I think there was one for the first event, there was one for the 5th event, and maybe one more, but the 5th event video there were a ton of people in the way. Nice air, wow. Then there was another one that also had it was just way too long. Would have been a ton of cutting out, ton of editing. This one was the best choice. And you know what? In the arenas, I'm just happy to watch the competition. But Brianna Mahan's having a pretty good run right now. I mean, her pace is right there with Corey Rummels, and if she keeps this up for the whole run, she will take a lead if she can fill the clock. Ooh, that was a weird sound. Oh no, over she goes, and another driver down early. I mean, that was a good run altogether, but flipping over that early, I'm going to give her a 6.5. And so Cody Saucier and Dragon is now tasked with being the only driver to put down a good full freestyle today, in what has been a day of just kind of sloppy driving all around. I mean, this has been a very, very sloppy competition. But I gotta say, it's been the Devin Winfield show today, and I'd have to imagine Devin's in some sort of close contention for the overall. I mean, it's gotta be somewhat close, if not even in his hands. I mean, he picked up 16 points from 2 wins, did pretty good in 2-wheel, and his freestyle wasn't that bad. I have him in second right now. So, in my world, I think Devin Winfield should be like 5 or 6 points ahead of everybody right now. Cody carrying a nice pace throughout this run. Nice air, and I mean, I'm going to say it, if this is the pace he keeps up the rest of the way, if he fills the clock, I'm giving him the freestyle trophy. I don't care what anyone says. Because nobody has filled the clock, nobody has had a consistent run, and Cody has the ability to do that here. Cody's a very technical driver. He doesn't make many mistakes out there. He doesn't flip over very often. He is a very good driver. The only time you'll see Cody's runs ending early is if the truck breaks on him. He's going to try a bicycle. Very nice. Good job. I mean, at this point, he has done enough to win freestyle. The question is, what will the score be? I've already got him above a 7.9. Time is up. That is an 8.4. And that would give him the win. Let's find out who actually won freestyle here today in Tacoma. Well, we see the overall event champions, Brianna Mahan. So how did that happen? Let's find out who won freestyle. Ashley Sanford did win freestyle. I mean, you have to imagine that attempting a backflip, it's most likely going to guarantee you a win. But Cody Saucier and Dragon did grab that second place. But here's how Brianna Mahan was able to win the overall. They placed Brianna Mahan over Devin Winfield, which I find to be very disappointing by 0.6 of a point, and they put Gravedigger in fifth, Earthshaker in 6th. So, I mean, Brianna Mahan won that overall by 2 points. It comes down to 2-wheel skills as well, when Velociraptor finished in 7th and Brianna finished in 4th. So, overall, pretty close competition here today, but a fairly underwhelming arena show. Let's be honest. I feel like I probably picked the worst of the 5. Just my luck. But hey, you guys wanted to see more arena action. I gave it to you. I wish we could have gotten a better show in there, but you know what? I'm happy to be here. I hope you all were happy to join me, and I will see you all next week on Monster Jam.